Hi, welcome again to another installment of Unveiling Africa, one handsome face at a time. I promise to bring you the very best. And here we have today a great dancer, a singer, a model, and ask him whatever he can do. I'm sure he can do it. He got a height, he got the looks, he got everything going for him. The beautiful, handsome voice you're going to hear in a few minutes. Let me have him introduce himself to you all, and what a powerhouse we have in here today. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Lawrence.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are.
Yes, of course. My name is Lawrence Alexander, and I am an up-and-coming artist. I actually do lots of different things. I've been on Broadway. I'm actually currently in The Lion King on Broadway as a performer, dancer, singer in the show, and as well as I am an artist, one of the first artists with Inth Music, which was started by Ikram Magladon Ishmael, who also threw the Immigrants Gala that was just maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So many people came, and that's where we met.
Yes.
I performed a set of my new EP called 3 is the Golden Ratio, which is sort of about so many things that I want to discuss today, but it's a new pop album with 3 singles, and I'm excited to share it. It's some feel-good, sort of like, a little bit of Afrobeat in there, feel-good pop music, dance music, something personal. There are 3 different tracks, and I'm just excited to come and share and talk about what it means to me and what Africa means to me and how that's been influencing me, and how just being in The Lion King has been influencing me for the last, I've been in the show for about 7 years now. So
good
for
for
a
you.
very long time. Thank you.
Good for you.
Of course.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Lawrence. But before you got to New York, you came from somewhere. Let's know your roots, your background.
Of course.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Of course. Originally, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Wow.
I grew up in the Midwest, and I started singing and dancing almost by accident. My sister was a dancer, and it's always hard for boys to start dancing. And my father was like, "No, dance is for girls."
Oh.
So I ended up
anymore.
going. Not anymore.
Yeah.
That was back then, but now it's a little more open. But I would always go with my sister to the studio with my mom and like stick in the car, and I was such a ham outside. And I really always tell the story like making like little dances, and like the owner saw me and she was like, "Who's this kid with all this energy?" I was just such a ham when I was little.
Yeah.
It was almost as if dance chose me, or performance was like, "Oh, he has to do this," because it was just, the shoe just fit, you know. I'm really tall, so people are always like, "Are you a basketball player?" I'm like, I should have been, but I started dancing so soon. But I started dancing. My father finally let me dance, and the owner gave me a full scholarship.
Wow.
Her name is Monica Renwick, back home.
Oh,
Shout out to
God
Monica
bless
School of
Monica.
Dance. And it just took me all the way. It literally changed my life. It was as if I jumped on my frequency.
Oh,
and that's what 3 is a Golden Ratio is all about. It's sort of about, well, it's sort of about what we've been talking about, the body, the mind, the spirit. When those 3 things come to service your soul, that's when you're in authentic power, and that's when you're in your true self. And that's why I did 3 is a Golden Ratio, because each of the 3 songs sort of represent a part of each of that, the mind, the body, and the soul. And one makes 3 is the Golden Ratio. And 3 is a very sort of, a very special number within the universe. It's divisible by so many things, and it comes up so many times in our lives, and I'm just excited to share it. So yes, that's how it happened. I just started dancing. I came to New York on a scholarship to Alvin Ailey.
Wow.
Yes.
You must have been good.
Well, you know.
Alvin Ailey.
And that was my first time actually coming to the Big Apple.
Oh, wow.
And the moment I stepped foot in like Columbus Circle, I just felt like I was home. There was a freeness to it. Not that Kansas City isn't free, but it has grown a lot, and Missouri as a state is still growing, and you know, going through its whole like things with, you know, segregation and race and all these things. I feel like we're all still sort of feeling that and going through that. But to come to New York and to not be in the Midwest and not to feel different and to find a place of artists, and I had so many mentors within the company of the Alvin Ailey Dance School who I was like, oh, that's me. I noticed that, and I attached myself to it, and it was just so inspiring.
So how did you land the dance
The scholarship.
Yeah.
Well, I had a teacher back home named Tyrone Aiken, who also was one of my dance teachers. A lot of people don't know this, but when you're very young and you have a fire within you, you want to surround yourself around people who are like-minded,
yes.
people who
we just
who
talked
you,
about
yeah,
that. Yeah,
it's almost like you feel that, like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do, and you want to start surrounding yourself around those type of people now when you're young, because the sooner you do it, you will find your tribe, you'll find your group,
Right.
you'll find those people who are going to push you, and that's your same frequency. And so Tyrone was that guy for me, and he came from New York. He had been a student at the school, danced tons of shows there, and was a dear friend of the director named Denise Jefferson, who was the school director. And Kansas City is actually the second home of Alvin Ailey, so a lot of people don't know that, but they come every other year. So there's a huge residence there. So I was just, again, lucky again at the right place at the right time. And I noticed, I was like, oh, I got to get to New York. I better do this. And I got in that, and I auditioned. The first year I wanted to go, my mom wouldn't let me go. I was 13, and I was like so upset. I remember I was like, I can't believe it, I want to go. But then the next year, I was like, listen, I'm going. So she let me go, and that's how it happened. I got the scholarship. It was a fellowship scholarship, and it opened my mind to so many things.
I can imagine.
So it was really, really good. And
So
that's how
fast forward to
Fast forward to
Lion
now.
King. Yeah,
yes.
now,
So
yeah.
now, I lived in a lot of different cities between there. I went to college in Boston at the Boston Conservatory. I got a full ride there. And that was also interesting
that's
going.
another. That's a plus. I'm sure still in the game.
But that was also another eye-opening moment. Here I was at the Ailey School, so I was very sort of Ailey visioned, and just all I saw was Ailey, which is fine. But you do want to grow, and you do want to excel. And you want to do everything. Beethoven. You want to learn all types of things. Fela, all those different styles.
Yeah.
I wanted to soak up so many different things. So I knew that I still needed more training. If not physically as an artist, I needed to grow more. I ended up going to Boston Conservatory, and I spent 4 amazing years there. They were amazing to me.
Wow.
I got a job. My senior year, I got a job in a very amazing company that's based in Chicago called Hubbard Street Dance Chicago. And the director actually invited me to come to the company.
Wow.
So I danced there for 2.5 years. I'm telling you this whole story. It's kind of long, but I danced there for a couple of years, and I was feeling as if
that was not enough.
Yeah, not that it wasn't enough, but a lot of people don't know. I really did. My dance teacher Monica, she was big in musical theater, and I always had an itch for musical theater, to sing, dance, and act. That was my real true passion, to put them all together.
Right.
And so I started to feel that. I started to feel like not that I was off frequency, but that there was something more that I needed to go do. And so I made the choice to move to New York and got an agent. And then the rest is history. I started booking shows.
Yeah.
I did my first show in New York, actually, my big show was Showboat at the Carnegie Hall. So it was crazy.
I remember Showboat.
Yeah. It was a concert night, and I did Showboat. I've also been in Follies on Broadway, Sondheim's Follies. I've also been in Anything Goes, which was at the Sondheim with Sutton Foster and a lot of other amazing people. Joe Gray did it. And then after Anything Goes closed, I got a call from the casting director for Lion King, and he was like, oh, we really feel like there's a part for you. And it's funny because the part that I play in Lion King is a huge bird, like this bird man, and
oh my God.
I'm like very
they chose the
regal.
Exactly.
And when they saw me, they were like, oh, you're just
the person we're looking
right,
for.
exactly. So again, I feel like if you are in that mind, body, spirit space, you'll be amazed by how
things
you
just
go
flow,
with the flow.
yeah.
It just flows.
Yeah.
I never ever thought I would go to Boston Conservatory. I didn't even know about Boston Conservatory.
I know.
I never thought that I would do some of the shows I've done. I never thought that I would meet some of the people I worked with them. It just happened that I was listening to my inner voice, that inner frequency, and
you have a spectacular, pleasant personality. Because when I first met you, you know how in this business some people are so stuffy and stuck up and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought, you would give me that vibe, but you were so embracing, so, so warm.
I try
to.
I really try to keep myself open. There are times where I have to even check myself, and I'm like, don't get too serious. It's not fun that way. I feel too stiff when I'm that way, But on the same token, I think that the most important thing for me now as an artist is to be able to share my my own process.
Yeah.
This is actually my 3 Years Ago in a Race show, the EP, which is available
So
everywhere.
what inspired you to say, you know what, now I've done enough dancing, I'm still doing dancing, but I want to express myself in another realm. What inspired you to do that?
Well, I've always sang and danced, like I was saying before, from a very young age. And I actually met Ikram, who is a really amazing guy, who is the founder of Ints and Ints Music and the app. And we end up grooving and vibing, and we didn't even really plan out to make an album. It was more of our energies. We were like, whoa, like, and we're completely two different people. Like Ikram is like this guy who went to Penn State, and like he's so like just smart and like out there, and I'm like this artsy like dancer guy who's from Kansas City. But musically, when we connect, it just happened. We started making tracks and more tracks and more tracks, and then we were thinking, oh, should we make a full album? And he was like, why don't we just make an EP? And I was like, well, what do I want to say with it? Actually, the song I'm going to perform today, it's the rhythm. We were at a club, and we met this like this very like over the top drag queen, I should say. And she was giving us so much vibe and so much energy, and I was thinking about how you have to have your own embodied energy.
Yeah.
It's people are so amazed by what's happening now and people doing this and so big, but we all have that inner ear, that inner voice, that we can own our own space and our own power. So that's really what It's Rhythm is about. And this whole time, the guy comes in and he's talking to this drag queen, and she's like, you want to know this swag? Well, you have to get the rhythm. You have to get the feeling. It's the music in the middle. So she's basically telling us how to get that personal swag. And that's what It's Rhythm is about. It's about that personal swag that everybody has, and that's your true power, that nobody else is you. That's your only power, really.
So you're going to perform for us now? You're going to perform for us? So when we come back, you'll be listening to It's the Rhythm.
It's the Rhythm.
Thank you.
Walked into the club and past the mirror. Just get up, glass left to Mac. Skated past the coach, don't need nothing no longer. Only need you to throw it back. As I reach the bar, I see a figure. Press to the lobby, supreme elite. Standing 6'5", she said I'm nervous, darling. Then she left her head, listen sweet. The feeling, have music in the middle of a moment. Feel the arrogant groove. It's the rhythm. Yeah, it's the feeling, have music in the middle of a moment. Feel the arrogant groove. It's the rhythm. And stare and begin to wonder what's the secret to this thing physique. She said, ladies don't vote, but if you throw me in the number, I'll show you how to put it in the naked meat. If you're really down, be a stranger. And if I happen to see you in the streets, she said, don't get shy. Be like her colored daughter, 'cause that's the rhythm you'll need to catch this beat. The feeling and the music in the middle of a moment. Feel the elegant groove. It's the rhythm. Yeah. Oh. The feeling and the music in the middle of a moment. Feel the elegant groove. It's the rhythm.
It's the Rhythm, available on all streaming platforms, out right now.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You got the rhythm quite all right. And you got a voice too.
Thank
So
you.
nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So who has inspired you to do something like this? You know, any African actors that you like?
I love DeVito.
Okay.
The new guy.
DeVito.
I'm really digging all of the Afro stuff. One of my big Afro beats well, I don't know if he's Afrobeat, but he was before all of this. It was Fela Kuti,
yeah,
who
he is the
I'm just,
master.
he's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so in touch with his musicality and just all of like the way he would orchestrate stuff. But still, it was so accessible and poppy. Just that music from Africa, they know their sounds, they know their rhythms. They know the rhythm is always in the crease. And me and Ikram, my partner, we talk about this all the time, who's actually African as well, exactly, yeah. So that's one of the reasons why me and him really gelled, because he, as a dancer, I think I understand that rhythm, you know what I'm saying? It's the rhythm.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been
and
so
don't
amazing.
Be a stranger.
No, I won't.
Come on back.
And you're amazing, by the way, too.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And you know what? It's the new year. It's a new decade.
It's a new decade.
We're gonna own it.
We're going to.
Yes.
Body, mind, spirit.
Yes.
3 is the golden ratio.
There you have it. And once again, thank you so much for watching us. Because of people like Lawrence, we're here, and because of people like you who keep us going. You know, you make us real. And thank you again. This is an award-winning talk show. Christine Daka McCarry is your host, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year's, everybody.
Decade is going to be a wonderful
2020, the golden year.
2020, the golden year. Yeah. Thank you. 2020 vision. That's what we're talking about. Bye.
Have a good one.
Feeling and music.